Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Writer's Room. I'm so excited to be with you today. We are going to do a mindset exercise today that has been incredibly powerful. And the first time I actually utilized this technique, I didn't even know I was doing it. I did it unconsciously, sort of naturally, and then later reverse engineered what happened. And now I do it anytime that I want to create results faster for myself. And it can be from anything from publishing something, completing a project. It could be around a relationship or a health thing. It doesn't even have to be about writing and thought leadership, but we're specifically going to talk about using this for your writing, publishing, speaking, and entrepreneurial success today. So what I'm talking about here is using an anchor image. We could also call it a hero image to manifest results faster. And I'm just going to share the story of how this first happened when I didn't know what I was doing. I would watch the movie When Harry Met Sally all the time. You know, it was one of those people, just sort of really captured my imagination. I love Nora Ephron's dialogue. I was enchanted by the whole world. I loved everything about it. I could probably still recite the movie by heart. But what's interesting, and even though there are many fabulous moments in the movie, one moment kept running through my mind like an image. And it was the moment when Bruno Kirby's character, if you've seen the film, he marries Carrie Fisher and he's a writer. And they were hosting I think when they're all still dating, they were hosting a games night and they're playing Pictionary or something. And the whole scene is a really hysterical scene about baby fish mouth and baby exorcist and them not being able to make connections during Pictionary. But the part of the scene that I couldn't stop thinking about was a throwaway moment when Harry first arrives at, I should say, Billy Crystal at Bruno Kirby's apartment. And he says, hey, I got the advanced copies of my new book, or the cover on my new book. And he's like, oh, I got to go check that out. And he pulls the book out and shows it. He's a famous writer, right? And that's the scene. I doubt if you asked anybody that loves When Harry Met Sally, they even remember that moment. There's some random transition moment where he's like, I got the cover on my new book, or you got to come see the new book. And all I kept thinking about was, what must that be like when you have gone all the way to not only write a book, but get it published, and the publisher has sent your first box of books, and you're like, hey, come on in the room and see the cover of my new book. So when I started getting serious about my writing and pursuing writing manuscript, finding an agent, getting published, I did traditional publishing for my first book. I was in this I just kept playing that scene in my head and pretending it was my book, and this box of books coming to the door and me opening it up and saying to someone, hey, come see the cover of my new book. And I would get really emotional about it because I thought, how could that ever happen? And I had a lot of doubts that it would ever happen for me, but I kept seeing that moment. And when this book, this is the first one, when the hardcover of Bringing in Finn arrived, it was like this wild Twilight Zone, like all of a sudden the worlds merged, and suddenly I had this big box of hardcover books, and I was able to say to probably some neighbor walking by, hey, want to see the cover of my new book? Right. And here it is. So I say this because at the time, as I mentioned, I wasn't doing it on purpose. I wasn't future pacing, future pulling. There's neuro-linguistic programming terms for this. There's coaching terms for this now. I wasn't mentally rehearsing, which is a coaching term, but I didn't know what it was called. But every time I thought of that scene in When Harry Met Sally and pretended it was my book, I was preparing my subconscious mind to say, this can actually happen for you. There's going to be a day when your book arrives and you'll be able to say, I mean, how fun if Billy Crystal came to your door and you could show him your book, right? So what you get to do now, that learning from this, is that you can consciously choose a hero image or an anchor image and play that over and over every day in relationship to your goal. And it will expedite dramatically the amount of time between where you are now and when you are, whether it's holding that book in your hand, seeing it on the bestseller list, getting a yes from that new client, standing on the TEDx stage, whatever your goal is, you can do this with. Now for TEDx, it can be fun because you can see that it's kind of the color of my shirt, right? That red orange circle and the TED logo behind you. And you can just keep picturing yourself, what outfit you're going to wear, and picture yourself up there on the stage, or any stage you want to be on. Or you're in the podcast interview and you just listen to the intro of your favorite podcast. And every time the host says, and today we're going to feature Brene Brown, you just substitute your own name. So you can do this in all sorts of different ways, but I want us all just to close your eyes and call to mind your number one goal right now. Let's all do it together. I'll do it with you and pick a new hero anchor image. So what is the thing you want most to happen this year or in the next few months? Okay. And now think of what is the moment that's going to represent you totally achieving that goal. So for me, it was this box of books arriving, holding this physical thing. It happened. It's real. It happened. What is that for you? Close your eyes now and ask your subconscious mind, your higher self, or the universe, what's that image that totally excites you because you know it's real? You know this thing you want has happened. This is the proof moment, the tangible moment. And you can pause this recording if you want more time to think of what that is. And now step 3, very simply, is to take a couple seconds, just a few seconds every day, and visualize that happening. So right now we're selling our current home because we found a gorgeous new home we're moving to. There's a for sale sign outside. So what I'm going to see every day is the sold sign on there. Right now it says for sale. All I'm going to envision today and the next days moving forward as this happens is sold, sold. I just walk by. Oh, it's sold. Walk by, sold, sold, right? What's that image for you? Step 1 is what do you want? Step 2 is choosing a hero image that excites you about it, that represents the absolute assured, it happened, it's done, it's real, you did it. And then just play that in your mind like a movie. You could do it every time you brush your teeth, every time you take the trash out, walking your dog, just pick a time every day and rehearse it. I can't wait to see what happens. I want to hear what your vision is, your mental hero image or anchor image, and then just that you're practicing it. I want to see how fast that becomes your reality. Get ready. Here it comes. Talk to you soon.